Big breaking news from the U.S. Supreme Court, just breaking this morning, in fact, and this is the top headline on Drudge this morning. Drudge says, ruled, take their DNA. The U.S. Supreme Court has issued a ruling that allows police across the country to take your DNA when they arrest you, to swab your DNA involuntarily on your part. They just take it from you essentially by force. In the same way that they take your fingerprints, they're now going to take your DNA. Well, why is this a big deal? And why did 4 of the justices at the U.S. Supreme Court have dissenting opinions warning about the expansion of police powers? This is a big deal because it essentially says that the U.S. government claims ownership over your DNA. Now, here's why that really matters. Number one, your DNA is unique and it's supposed to be yours. It's supposed to be private. It's part of your biology. It's part of your body. It's an intimate part of your body. Why can the government just take that from you? And if the government can take it from you, what can they do with it? Now, here's where it gets really scary. You're probably aware of the gene hypothesis of disease, right? You've heard of Angelina Jolie having a double mastectomy because she carried a gene mutation called the BRCA1 or the BRCA2 gene, BRCA1 and 2 genes that are associated with an increased risk of breast cancer. This hypothesis is wrong. Your genes do not determine your health outcome. They might have a 1% influence over your health. 99% of your health is up to you. It's based on what you eat. It's based on avoiding GMOs and avoiding fluoride and avoiding toxic chemicals and avoiding smoking and fried foods and all those things that you know are bad for you. Most of your health outcome is up to you, probably, again, 99%. But the government has been saying that the genes determine your health outcome. Now, here's the danger. What happens when they take your DNA because you're arrested, they put it in a government database, which is, of course, what they do with everything. The government loves to have databases on the people. And then they analyze your DNA and they decide, oh, you have a gene for mental illness. Then they use that information to take away your Second Amendment rights. That's right. A knock on your door. Hey, we're here to take your guns because when you were arrested last week, we ran a DNA analysis over your genome sequence, and we discovered that you have the gene for mental illness. Ha ha, the joke's on you. We're taking your guns. That's what the government is going to do with this. Or even worse, they're going to say, oh, you want to sign up for Obamacare because you want to pay 100 to 200 to even 400% more for your health insurance than you used to pay because Obamacare is raising the rates on everybody around the country? Well, guess what? You're disqualified because you have a gene for breast cancer, or you have a gene for liver cancer, or you have a gene for sickle cell anemia. If you want to get down that road, they can use this with a racial bias to take away your right to have basic health care, basic human dignity in a medical system that essentially respects no human dignity, by the way. They can use your genes against you. They can use them against you in a court of law. They can say, let's say they take your children because they don't like the fact that you're not vaccinating your children or you're homeschooling your children to give them a real education instead of the watered-down, government-run public education system, right? So they take your children and then they arrest you. They get a gene swab, a DNA swab. They run the genetic code from that, and then they say, well, you have the gene of a bad parent, so you can't have your kids back. We're going to take your kids because the state knows best. We're going to take your kids and say you have a bad parenting gene. You see, this is the mythology that's so dangerous. They can say your genes are anything they want. They can say you have a gene for being a rebel. They can say you have a gene for being a patriot, which they now call terrorism. Oh, you have the gene for speaking out. That's dangerous to the government. Obama says you shouldn't listen to those voices. Maybe you should arrest those voices, put them in jail because they've got the gene for speaking out. So basically, anybody who's got genetics that are part of humanity, you know, the will to live, the will to exercise free speech, the liberty gene, you might even say, if there is such a thing, they're going to target that and target you because of your genetic code. This is a very dangerous precedent, and it will be abused. Mark my words here on this day on the Alex Jones Show. My prediction is that this will be abused in highly destructive ways against the American people. So the Supreme Court has just sent us down a hellish path of abuse of police powers over our DNA. Now, on the DNA topic, and by the way, bringing back up Angelina Jolie, who continues to be in the media for her decision to have both of her breasts removed, even though they were perfectly healthy breasts. She did not have cancer. She just had a gene that's supposed to be linked with cancer. And I strongly criticized Angelina's decision. I didn't criticize her as a person. I don't know her. I can't really criticize her. I'm criticizing her decision. But the reason this is important is because right now, today, 4,000 human genes are owned and patented by corporations and universities. Did you know that? 4,000 of your genes. Now, the human body has about 20,000 genes. 4,000 of those, or roughly 20%, are patented by someone else. What does this mean? It means you don't even own your own genetic code. You follow me on this? Somebody else claims to own your code. Who gave them that claim over your human body? Who gave them that right to claim they own it? The U.S. government. The U.S. Patent and Trademark Office gave them that claim. They handed out your genes to other corporations and universities. And what are those corporations and universities doing with that monopoly, that patent that they've been given by the U.S. Patent Office? They're using it to charge you monopoly prices on the testing of those genes. That's right. So all those women who are listening to Angelina Jolie and are saying, well, gee, I should go get tested for the BRCA1 gene or the BRCA2 gene, they're having to pay $3,000 to $4,000 out of pocket for a genetic test that should only cost $100. The reason it costs $3,000 to $4,000 is because you have to pay these monopoly royalties to a company called Myriad Genetics out of Utah that owns the patent on those genes because the U.S. Patent Office gave them that patent. It's insane, and it's going to be used against you. It's going to be used against women, especially against women who are all freaked out about whether they have this breast cancer gene. It turns out 99% of them don't have it. So you have to test 100 women to find one who has it. So you're going to spend $300,000 on this gene testing in order to find one woman who has one gene that only has about a 1% influence over her cancer outcome. That's insanity. That's a medical insanity, patent insanity, intellectual property insanity. And now the U.S. government says we can take your genes anytime we want. Yeah, we pull you over. We can just swab your mouth, and if you refuse, guess what? We're going to stick a gun in your face and make you do it, or take you to jail and then make you do it there. They can take your DNA. They can assign ownership of your DNA to someone else, as they've been doing, and they can use that against you over and over and over again. This decision by the U.S. Supreme Court is a violation not just of human rights and civil rights. It is a violation of universal law. It's a violation of God's law, if you want to say it that way. It's a violation of basic human dignity and basic genetic privacy. It is wrong. Hi, this is Mike Adams, the Health Ranger, with some news about some new additions to the Infowars store. You know, good health is freedom. When you're healthy, you're not a slave to the medical system. Everything works well, your brain, your body, even your spirit. You're a healthier person. And to help support that great health, Alex has asked me to source the cleanest, most potent superfoods and other similar products in the world and bring them to the Infowars store. So we've done that. The brand name is Health Ranger Select, and we're starting out right now with these three products. We've got Himalayan salt from Pakistan, formed hundreds of thousands of years ago in an ancient seabed long before modern pollution destroyed much of the oceans. This is loaded with trace minerals, and it's pristine, true, full-spectrum sea salt. We've also got Natural Attitude Turmeric. It's an extract of turmeric, very potent, tastes great, alcohol-free. This is from organic turmeric out of India. And we've also got Clean Chlorella. And we sourced and did research on all the chlorella sources around the world, and we found the two cleanest sources that have the lowest levels of any kind of contaminants. In fact, this one is virtually free of all metals and all contaminants. It's called Clean Chlorella, and it's about 2/3 protein, and it's got chlorophyll and chlorella growth factor in it. Check it out online. It's an amazing superfood that athletes are using and people are using to help support healthy lifestyles. It's fantastic. This is all packaged in our certified organic facility here in Central Texas. There we follow USDA certified standards, and we're audited every year by the USDA certifier to make sure that we comply with all organic standards. That, combined with the fact that we only source super clean superfoods and raw materials from around the world, means that our products represent the cleanest and most potent products that you'll find across the natural products industry. Check all of these out under the Health Ranger Select brand name at the Infowars store, InfowarsStore.com. And we'll be bringing you more of these in the near future. Thanks and take care. A mayhem in the city, New York City. 25 people were shot in the last 48 hours. Gosh, that's almost one person every 2 hours. That's quite a lot of shooting for a city that says it's making you safe by taking away all your guns. Yet more proof that gun control doesn't work because, of course, only the criminals have the guns in New York City and Chicago and everywhere else that they try their gun control agenda. It just flat out does not work. Period. Does not work. You notice there's not a bunch of shootings like that in, I don't know, Central Texas? That's because everybody's armed, including myself, right now at this very minute, sitting here in the studio, carrying a Glock, as I always do. Everybody's armed around here. There's not crazy shootings. People are actually pretty darn polite to each other when everybody knows they're carrying. So in other news, Infowars reporters confront Bilderberg security. Paul Joseph Watson and Richard Reeves were confronting the hotel that canceled their reservations, apparently in violation of the 2010 Equality Act in the UK, which says that people cannot be denied, they cannot be discriminated against for their political beliefs. But the hotel appears to be discriminating against the Alex Jones crew precisely because of their political beliefs. This story is posted right now on Infowars.com. It's by Paul Joseph Watson. What is that video? Oh, it's a video of them at the hotel confronting the reception personnel there and asking why their rooms were canceled. Well, gee, we know why they're canceled, because you're with Alex Jones. And we can't allow Alex Jones to exercise free speech in the United Kingdom. That would be a terrible, terrible thing. So the oppression has already begun at the Bilderberg conference, and you can expect there will be more interesting stories all week long. Now, 2/3 of Americans don't know if they will insure under Obamacare. I mentioned this in the last segment, but I have a few other comments here. Obamacare has been described as a train wreck. It's already derailed. It's running off the tracks. It's just a matter of time before the cars start stacking up and whatever explosives were being carried by the train start leaking out and catching on fire. This is a disaster. The state exchanges that are supposed to be running Obamacare can't even get their IT departments to work correctly. Most of the states that claim they're going to have this by January 1 of 2014 are not going to be able to do it. There are going to be computer problems galore. If you think the DMV is a nightmare, wait until you try to sign up for the Obamacare exchanges in your state. That is going to be an IT nightmare. I mean, just imagine the mess of all these overpaid government employees trying to figure out highly complex relational databases. They're probably going to try to run the whole system on an Excel spreadsheet because they don't even know how to use databases. So it's going to be a massive nightmare. And the whole thing, my prediction is it's all going to fall flat on its face, and Obamacare is eventually going to be pulled. It's going to be redacted. It's going to be rejected after the 2014 elections. And certainly by the 2016 presidential election, things are going to be so different by then. Hopefully, we will have Obama impeached by that time. We'll have Obamacare pulled out of U.S. law. We'll have some liberty back in place. We'll have Rand Paul successfully championing the legalization of industrial hemp farming in America, something that he's just come out for. so that our farmers can get back to business making money again, planting a crop that has a multitude of uses. It's not about marijuana. This is industrial hemp, okay? You can't smoke it, but you can turn it into clothes and textiles and car parts and even seeds and oils and nutritional products. It's the crop for America. It's what we need right now. Go, Rand Paul. Get it legalized, okay? Thank you. Thank you for standing up for liberty. We love you. Keep it up. Stay tuned. This is the Alex Jones Show. We'll be right back.
Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.